saw yesterday, like Grant Cohn, he tweeted out he thinks this team looks better than the 2019 team, and I think so far they do. I would say like they're a more balanced team in 2019, and in recent memory of this 49ers team, in particular the defense has always been like top 3, like dominant force in the NFL. They're winning the games for them. They're not letting any opposing teams get anything on them, kind of thing. And like this year, like it feels a little bit different. They're still very good. But I think like the reason that people are now shifting towards, well, now it's like the offense carrying the team, is because I think the offense is just that much better now than it was in the past, in prior years. In 2019, like it is an example of that, right? And like that's crazy to say because that team did start 8-0 and they went to the Super Bowl. But I think like what we've seen from Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey, like this offense is definitely a lot better than that 2019 team. So sky is really the limit for them, right? And so looking at that and looking at what we were mentioning, that they still have room to grow, and being that there's a lot of vets that are a very well disciplined team, I do trust that they're going to make those strides. I already saw it from week 3 to week 4. There were improvements,
progression for sure.
They were 5-5 in the red zone. They decreased the number of penalties they had. So those were some of the things I had noticed in like the first few games that I was like, oh, like, yeah, they can afford to clean those up. And they did, from one week to the next. You see Brock Purdy, early in that one game, it was week 2, struggling for the deep throws. Look at him now. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was cooking with Ayuk yesterday. So they're just going to continue to grow and make strides. Purdy's going to continue to grow. I think Steve Wilkes is going to continue to get comfortable with this defense and the personnel that he has. He's still kind of finding that rhythm. He's still putting Ambry Thomas out there, which I'm not a fan of. I think he'll learn to not do that. Hopefully after this week. But they're just going to keep improving. So I think like that's one sweeping statement early on that I think we can make. But yeah, I mean, we're going to have to test it and see it against some really good teams and some really good defenses. So these next two games for me are a good measuring stick for the 49ers. But based on what we've seen so far, there's no reason to think that they can't win those games.
I completely agree. I'm excited to see them go against the Cowboys. I have faith with, especially seeing how the Cowboys face the Cardinals. I have faith that Wilkes will come up with a good, and Kyle Shanahan will come up with a good game plan. Now, Dan Quinn always plays Kyle really well. They seem to scheme against each other and have really good matchups. So it definitely seems like that will be the hardest competition that they've faced. And that Browns defense has looked really, really dominant too. Yeah. So I am excited to see that. And it is interesting what you were saying about the offense being so dominant. I feel like as the 49ers, we kind of know them as being, I want to say, lifted up, not, maybe not carried, but their defense always being the most dominant side of the ball. And
they carried. They definitely carried.
Yeah.